Welcome to the Yes Anthem podcast with your hosts, Kat London
and Rich Aveo.
What's the Yes Anthem?
The Yes Anthem is the inner desire to find the beautiful things in life.
If everyone sang their Yes Anthem out loud, we'd all sing in harmony.
The Yes Anthem wishes you the courage to like what you like,
choose what you want,
and trust what you love.
Enjoy the episode.
Yes.
Yes. And yes. Anthem. Wow. Hey, yay! I am in quite an agitated, excited state to bring up something to you today.
Tell me.
Because you're always my calming gem. You're my little crystal.
Oh, yeah.
You're my little crystal.
I'm about as useful as one of those gems.
Which I think this will be pretty gemful.
Okay.
Gemavol. Rich Gemavol.
Gemavol.
Aveo.
Ooh, I like that.
Anyway, I'm Kat London.
I'm Rich Genevall Aveo.
Gemavol. Okay,
Gemavol.
this is going to be like a question / just let me vent for a second kind of
Shoot, I'm
thing,
gonna
and
sip my coffee.
I need you to catch me here because this week I saw the sign. Is it sun or sign?
Sign.
Okay, can you see my hand shaking? I just had a bunch of matcha.
You are on fire.
I'm so dehydrated.
This ought to be fun.
This is gonna be great, especially because
It's like
I hope I don't come
a line
across
of
as
Coke.
like, man, I am Coca-Cola'd up.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So, okay, look at this clipboard that I'm holding. All right, give me a sec.
Okay.
Does it piss you off? Because I saw a sign this week that I have seen before at a venue I was recently at.
Physical sign.
Yes, a physical
Okay,
sign.
okay.
Yeah. Which is giving me a lot of other spiritual signs.
Got it.
But I always want to come to some sort of nice, calming peace, stasis around
Let's work it out.
anything we bring up at
work
the
it
Yes
out.
Anthem. This is going to start off as a question and quickly syntactically not make sense into a statement and a rant. Does it piss you off that artists themselves say, come support art, instead of enjoy art? And other people say, too, I'm going to support art, as if my entrepreneur, say it for me.
Matcha.
As-
Entrepreneurial.
As if my matcha entrepreneurialism as an artist is like a Girl Scout troop where you buy cookies to support the Girl Scouts cause, when really just my cause is to reconnect you to yourself and to connect you to others. Okay, and then I'll rephrase.
Okay.
Wow, that actually came out, although I didn't say a lot of words correctly, it came out calmer and very astute.
Well, can I tell you something before you go on?
Tell me something good.
I'm already triggered.
You're all...
So continue, please.
All right. Well, I'll rephrase it. Does it piss you off that... All right, okay, so I also was scrolling through Instagram for the 2 minutes that I allow myself to scroll through Instagram per day.
Right.
That's a plain lie. It's got to be 10 minutes that I do.
Not bad, though.
Possibly more. Not horrible.
That's not bad.
But an artist that I really respect, crazy, outrageously gifted and practiced and very nice, pretty well known
High up
in
in the
his
food
sector.
chain?
High up in the food chain,
Okay.
not too.
Okay.
But he goes, live stream tonight, buy a ticket in the link. Come on, guys, support. And I went, no, this is not the Girl Scouts. This is not the Girl Scouts. You're not. But I'm like, why am I saying this? And I think there's a big cloud of whys and hows and things that are like trying to vie for a position in my head to bring up right now.
Right.
It could be the matcha speaking that is not letting me prioritize my anger versus my peace, or some sort of nice hybrid of the middle.
Well, it's a small funnel hole
of
and
ignoring
a lot of things
it.
trying
Yeah,
to push their
exactly.
way through it.
I would like to just feel, I don't know, maybe it doesn't need an answer. I don't know. I'm jumping to the conclusion here.
It bothers you, though.
But I was very triggered, and I think it has something to do with the sign that I saw.
Okay.
And I took a picture, and I remember I saw this last year, or however many years ago.
I think I know the sign you're referring to.
Yeah, and it says...
Already, without even seeing the picture of it.
So it has... All right, remember that I mentioned even... Not only is it like your aunt going, oh, I'm going out to support my friend's photography clinic, or I don't know how to say it.
Free
Carnival?
Free flu shots at this photography clinic.
I still... Okay, so we know my thing around support or just, oh, here it is. Instead of saying, ticket link in the bio, come out and enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
I think it has something to do with the other day, me seeing this big-ass sign in a venue that says, happiness is free live music. Not happiness is live music, not happiness is music, or just happiness.
And there's
here.
no period after the word free. Like, happiness is free. Also, there's live music here.
Dude!
Right? That's just to clarify.
Dude.
Yeah.
I've got so much
I've
macho
got a lot to
pumping
say
through
on
my
this.
veins.
I've got a lot to say about this, but I don't want to.
What
I
is
don't
the
want to
first
commandeer
thing-
this conversation.
No, I need
right
you
now.
to because I'm having so I need a water.
Well, can I? All right. So, can I? Would you like to speak more on this?
No.
Or can I weigh in a little?
Absolutely not.
All right.
Help
so
me.
here's my problem with. You jump, I will try to catch you. Here's my problem with the idea that art is meant to be supported.
And is it a problem?
Yes.
Okay.
We can get to that.
All right.
To start, my philosophy on art is that art is a gift. It's an exchange. And the exchange is this.
Right.
I've created something that was built and birthed deep within me.
Yeah.
And now I'm sharing that with you. The exchange is that I've altered your feelings. You feel better about, or worse, whatever the purpose of your art is.
Sure.
It's to amplify you and elevate you.
Yeah, or at least to help you assist in assisting you in addressing something. Something.
Even if the music or painting or whatever is angry and it makes you angrier, I'm still I'm literally like attaching a valve from my heart right to yours.
And that person came to see you willingly. It wasn't like someone was like, no, please don't take me to this concert.
Well,
oh,
see,
I
and
hate
that's
improv
okay.
comedy. Or, like, don't take me
Right.
here.
And that's what that's where I think the problem with the word support comes from.
Great.
Okay, so like, I don't think selling tickets necessarily, or even just, well, first of all, whether we could always have the argument about whether or not music and art should be free, but that's not what bothers me right now. I'm only bothered by the idea that it is meant to be supported. And I don't think it's a thing that it doesn't require support. It requires immersion. Like, your being there is the exchange on your end. And
It was your choice by saying, yeah, continue. Sorry.
well, I mean, I'm working it out too, right? Like, because it's
And we have an hour and a half to figure this
Yeah,
out.
of
So we
course.
can take this in teensy chunks. We
Yeah.
can talk about
It's a great
perceived
topic.
value versus ticket price. We could talk about
yeah. Well, I definitely think the value of art is going to be a valid point in the conversation at some point.
yeah,
But I have a real problem with the word support.
right.
Come support my show. Support this artist. Support local businesses. Support whatever. What? That's to imply this.
Yes.
That's to
I was just going
imply
to say it's many implications here.
No one ever says, "Hey, come to this U2 show and support U2."
No one says, come to my restaurant to support my restaurant.
Specifically-
they say, come here to enjoy you too. Come here to enjoy my food.
Yeah, and I think the word support implies that we can't do it without you, which I think is true. I think it's a true sentiment, but it just also seems, when you say support, it's almost like you're doing a favor to the artist.
Which also implies that the patron also doesn't necessarily need
or even
it.
want.
Need or want it. Don't go.
Don't go.
Get
Stay the fuck home.
Fuck out of here.
Stay home.
What are you doing? Why would I be at a sushi restaurant if I don't like sushi?
Yeah.
I love sushi.
To support this local business?
Absolutely
not.
It's not. And then why do patrons then, why are they okay with, they go, yeah, of course, why would I go to the sushi restaurant if I don't care for the cuisine?
Actually,
And they go, yeah, that's a no-brainer, Kat.
Yeah.
Don't go to that restaurant. Let's go to
exactly.
The Mediterranean
Do anything.
Grill.
Go get a burger.
Go get a burger.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting...
And they're like, yeah, duh. But with music, it's like, no, I really should
Yeah.
be at the photography clinic.
I think it implies a few things here, and this is why I'm fucking triggered about this, because it
Yeah.
implies a few things. Number one, it puts a spotlight on the fact that, most local musicians are fucking broke. Okay, so that's number one.
How about most even... Well, here's another thing. I was just going to echo your label as higher up on the food chain.
Mm-hmm.
Hierarchical, vertical relationships, no bueno in any industry.
Right.
But I think this whole "come support me" is spawned by thinking people are better or worse, or more value in everything, more value than others, or scared to admit their value. And you said broke. And do you mean broke mindset?
No,
Did you even say broke? Did I
did
make
say
that up?
broke.
Okay.
I literally
So
mean...
much matcha.
I literally mean come support small businesses, because small businesses are not a thriving part of the community. Your support basically helps us get by. What does life support mean? If you're in the hospital and you're on life support, it means that I'm about to fucking die without this machine. And to me, the connotation of the word support means we as artists
Is already a lack.
don't have the power or the even the will to survive without you.
Or the will, they
I'm
might
not
have
saying
the
that
will,
right.
but the capability, they don't even have their own tools and mechanisms within themselves to do it, let's say, just on their own. Not to say, I mean, what is it? Does a bear shit in the wood? No, the tree falls in the woods. Does someone hear it?
Yeah.
All right, you write a song. Granted, look, I've written many songs that will not see the light of day, and they have healed the shit out of my shit. But it is nice at the end of the day to share music. Okay, one could say the musician does need their... I don't want to say fan base for some reason. For some reason, fan base still implies like a vertical...
Your tribe?
Yeah, let's say community.
Yeah.
Like, well, you need your community.
And you do.
But like you bringing back, I know like listeners, you guys are probably like, spit it out already. But this, maybe you can relate in that it is hard to pinpoint this. Oh, crap. I don't know.
Take a breath.
Yeah. It's like.
Matcha latte. Well, while you ponder,
it's an exchange.
it is an exchange, and so I hear again.
And support is not exchange.
I agree. Support is to me
It
the
can
word.
be.
To me, the word support means that you're having trouble, and I'm here to support you.
Right.
To me, that's what the word support means. I'm here to lift you up.
Let's say it means the other thing, just
Which is
for
what?
argument's sake. You said, I'm having trouble. Let's say you're having a great-ass time with your cause,
Right.
and you just want more support.
See, I wouldn't call it support then.
What
I
would-
would
you
call it
like, join me.
absolutely.
And then join me doesn't mean I'm your freaking leader. Like, join me,
Yeah.
I will be your reigning person.
Yeah,
it just means be one with me.
Yeah.
And I think we're painting music or any kind of ticketed art, like performance art, as lesser than, as something like, oh, God, please, I'm begging you.
And my problem with that is you only tend to see the word support when it's for something local, something not at the higher end of the food chain.
No, because the Instagram ad,
How high up in the food chain was this artist that used the word support, by the way? Like, are we talking about a star or like...
No,
okay.
not. We're not talking about
Like somebody people
We're
know.
not talking about who's that girl, who's a new girl. We're not
Like
talking
Dua Lipa or something.
We're not talking Zoe Deschanel. We're talking about like four less million followers under that.
Okay.
But it's just and I don't even think they know what they're saying half the time.
Well, yeah,
I
I think
support. I'm like, don't, and that's why I'm like, it's subliminal shit. Because this sign that I took a picture of, happiness is free live music. Anybody walking around, they go, oh, that's cute. They don't really stop and get bothered the way I get bothered because it's subliminal. Happiness is free live music. It's not free. Those musicians are being paid in there. The venue is paying
God willing,
them.
maybe.
They are.
Yeah.
I know they are. I happen to know they are. They're getting paid. Don't make the sell to your patron. It's like the problem with radio. People just think music is allowed to be consumed and you're not allowed. People know when they listen to music that there is some sort of chemical thing going off in their brain. They feel happier. They feel it's helping them like mellow out. But I don't think people always realize, living in the present, living in the now, that when you do listen to the radio, there is an exchange there. It's not just free music you're listening to. Whether you like it or not, when that shit hits your ears, if you're hearing, or if you can feel the vibration if you're hard of hearing, your energy is still exchanging back to that musician, essentially. But I think with all this subliminal messaging of like, oh, please help me, support, because we're really low on ticket sales. I can't believe it. Or happiness is free live music. I think the listener or the community or potential community just goes like this. That's right. Fan me with your grape leaves. Let me just eat this art, and I don't even feel like it's an exchange. Because then, when it comes to a choice of, like, let's say going to a ticketed event in your neighborhood, or hell, even in one of the major cities, not that anything's better than the next, they go, I don't know. Like, do I really want to? It's like, well, do you enjoy that band? I do, but it's just... Like, were they marketed enough to make me feel like I want to signal to everybody else that I was at that concert?
Yeah, I think you're deep in the
I am
psychological side of it all, but
I
I still have a huge problem with that. I want to go back to the word support a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a psychology, obviously, behind how to market, right?
Yes.
And so,
Yes.
so like, I'm sure whoever that artist was, Joey Deschanel, said,
That's a great name.
Yeah. Said, come support live music. And again, this is a platitude. This is, in my opinion, this is like a phrase that has just become a thing that people say. Hey, support stand-up comedy, support live music, support the arts. It's just like a phrase that like PBS has gotten us used to hearing. The Helena R. Dodge Foundation has gotten us real used to get your free tote bag.
Support. Yep, free.
Now, and I think there's various ways you can support someone, but I think once you put the spotlight on the word support, it's no longer organic. It's no longer real. Now I'm doing you a favor by being there. And then you have a choice as you go, I don't know.
They're always going to be
I can
there.
go out and watch my friend's band tonight, but I don't know, man.
I mean, they're
going to
have another full show. Exactly.
Yeah, and it makes it hard. It makes it
Yep.
it makes it almost disingenuous when I hear support this thing, support this, because it's one thing to support a cause.
Yeah.
If you are supporting a charity, or
Yes.
Girl Scouts or whatever it is, however you want to choose to support, whether it's buying cookies or giving money or whatever. Mm-hmm. Art is a spiritual thing, right? Like art can speak to a cause. Art can change the world.
Yeah.
But you're not supporting the cause. You can't support art. Art is a living and breathing thing.
That's exactly my point.
That's like saying, "Oh, support the trees, go on hikes." What?
Art has no cause. it supports other things.
Yeah, art.
You don't support
Art
art.
is a support
art
system.
Art
is the scaffold in which
Yes.
societies
Yes,
have
yes.
stood on for centuries.
The same way food supports hunger. It feeds hunger.
You don't say
the-
support hamburgers. Come to McDonald's.
Absolutely
We'll
not.
feed you.
You're right, exactly.
Like, we all know we need food. So, like, do you like hamburgers? Come to my restaurant. I will feed you the best hamburger you ever had.
And I think this will make sense to a lot of people. They'll go, yeah, that makes sense. But I dare you to then practice the feeling of now. Like when it is time to if you're sitting in a restaurant listening to the music or whatever, or if you see a ticketed show, there's a comedy show in New Jersey, you're like, oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to the, as I like to say, the quiet voice first before the loud voice goes,
Me,
nah,
me.
nah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
too far.
Right.
Listen to the quiet voice, which
Right.
was probably sheer excitement. You are available Friday night.
Yeah.
Get the fuck in your car and go spend, by the way, the $10 that the ticket is.
Now, yeah. Well, you just opened up Pandora's chest here to harken back to one of our episodes. Yeah.
Pandora's chest.
So, yeah, well, that's another thing, too. So, again, oftentimes, when we talk about the word support, right, like, I bet if I just took 10 people and said, hey, do you support this? We're probably referring to, like, some charitable idea, like, well, again, whether it's like Water for Cambodia or, like, do you support these people and how do you support? Money.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
oftentimes charities are basically asking you for fucking scraps. They're not being honest with you and saying, hey,
You the musician or you the
sorry,
patron?
me
Just
the charity. Like,
a charity? Wait.
if I'm an organization
Okay.
seeking support,
Okay.
oftentimes
Yeah.
I'm kind of willing to take literally whatever anyone's willing
whatever.
to give.
Yeah, that's
Right?
the whole point.
That's the whole point,
Right,
exactly,
you
because
never
it's
know
not
what
supposed
people
to be
are willing to give. Could
Right.
be their time.
Exactly.
for
You
all
can
that.
volunteer, right?
Right.
However,
Yes.
when you use the word support for art, you're indicating to me
Yeah.
that art doesn't necessarily require, I guess, anything. It's kind of like, well, whatever you're willing to give. So,
Or
like,
that it does.
well, I'm saying I'm speaking to the point you just made about
Yeah.
the $10 tickets, right? So it's like, I think because we've been using this idea for supporting these dying arts for so damn long, and it's just become like part of our vernacular.
Just a
That,
good,
like-
good bad label that you just used there.
Yeah.
Dying arts. Fuck you.
Well, that's what I'm
They're
saying,
the
right?
most living thing on earth.
That's exactly
Right.
right. And art has saved the world time and time again since the beginning of time.
Right.
Right? Like, what other than art have we been able to really learn from? If you look at it. I mean, I love science and I love all that stuff too, but it's like,
And if not more than other things, at least equivalent to other game-changing
100%.
ideas. But instead, it's like help the artist. Pat on their
Yeah,
head.
it's like we
the
treat art-
the busker.
we treat art like the
know?
fucking dodo bird or something. We're
Yes,
just like, hey,
exactly,
if we
yeah.
don't start supporting the arts, it's going to go bye-bye. We're pulling it out of schools. We're deep, we're taking funding away from all this stuff. Now, instead of asking for support, hey, buy a ticket to my show. You might like the music.
And you might be off your Prozac if you come to my show instead of feeding the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah. How about this? Come to my show,
yeah.
and I'll do my best to make sure you leave in a great mood.
And I think that's really interesting because do you think there's a weird trust issue? Not because of experience, the trust issue develops, but because of marketing in general, such as free live music. And people go, and let me complete this thought, typically things that are free aren't necessarily the best. So perhaps there's
Fair.
a preliminary trust issue going into said concert or comedy show, and you're like, I'm going to get a free show tonight, and I'm going to buy a nice tequila drink. So I'm going to enjoy myself-ish with my friends-ish, but I'm not going to really expect that the performer cares two shits about me. In fact, it's probably a 3-year-old ballet recital that I'm going to see tonight.
Right.
Adorable. But really, it was a charitable act for me to even be at this theater tonight. Is that, and I forget what you just you incited that out of me.
That's fine.
To say.
We'll move forward with it.
But what is that jog for you?
Well, I've already let go of a thing that I was already thinking of because you brought something to mind for me when you were talking.
Okay.
Here's a scenario.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna come up with a punk band named, fucking Locksmith Riot.
You.
Right? Locksmith Riot is playing this bar, Shit's Pub, SCHIT. Right? So okay, so cool. So Locksmith Riot is playing tonight at this local bar. Like, some people in the neighborhood know who they are. They're not well known yet.
Yes.
We should go support the arts. And while we're there, we might as well also support Patron Tequila. And we might as well support Busch Light beer.
Right.
No, you're only supporting the people on stage. Right. What about everything else that's part of that experience? So art and music in particular is no longer part of the experience for you, as you said earlier. Oh, now I'm going to actually come here. I already know I enjoy tequila. I already know I enjoy beer. I already know I enjoy dive bars. But I'm going to do my part for society to just support this music. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Take the word support out of it. And enjoy the music the same way you enjoy the tequila. Enjoy the music the same way you enjoy the experience of going out and however you enjoy your night, whether you get drunk or you dance or whatever it might be.
And not to say that there are many people in this world who also do not use the word support. They just freaking love entertainment.
There are a lot of people out there who, yes.
But we're not talking about that.
Exactly.
The fact that it's so prevalent, this word support, I pick up on patterns like crazy because improv is patterns. The word support's thrown around.
It's become
way too much. It's
become a part of our vernacular to the point where I don't think people realize what it means anymore when they say it.
It's like arts is a nonprofit now.
Yes.
They don't even know they're saying it. You're absolutely right.
Yes,
I
agree.
What you said about people like, am I supporting Patron, like these businesses?
Yeah, these like legitimate things.
What people, you have brought this up before, people don't, when they walk into a Starbucks, they don't like to entertain me the thought of this. Mm-hmm. You don't like to, as a patron of Starbucks, you don't like to think you're supporting the person who created Starbucks.
Correct.
With your money, with your $7 latte and a small macaron. You like to think that you're supporting yourself by yum, 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 eating what you purchased, but also maybe reading that fun story on the wall that just kind of tells you where the beans were sourced. Doesn't really necessarily put a name to whose beans they were.
Yep.
Talk to me about that time that you brought that up to me.
My idea about things like that, and it's when I, as performers, we'll just get professional about what we do for a sec, if you don't mind.
Go
as
for
professional
it.
entertainers, right? Who we do have to kind of like work hard to sell tickets and work hard to put productions on and all that stuff. Like, we're heavy on the unglamorous part of our business because we're independents. So like we get the whole backside of it, what fuels everything.
Heavy as in busy with it.
Busy with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like we're involved in it ourselves.
Oh yeah.
So like we're not just like airdropped on the stage and it's like da 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 da.
That's another thing. Music doesn't just come out of thin air. It is a business.
Exactly. So right. So my thought, my sentiments about that topic, about like Starbucks in particular. We've marketing has gotten so crafty.
Yeah, craft
that
is a good word.
They're tricking the patron into thinking you're not paying $7 for a cup of coffee, which by the way you love.
Yeah.
You love coffee in the morning.
Right.
In fact, shit, you probably couldn't imagine your day without this cup of coffee.
Indeed.
Right?
A lot of jokes about that.
However, I'm going to also make you believe that the money you're spending is also going towards supporting these communities of people. And in a way, of course it is. Now, I'm using the word support intentionally.
Yes, okay.
The $7 that I give Starbucks for, a shot of espresso is also making me feel like I've done my part by also giving money to source these beans, fair trade, and
Done
hey,
your
this is great.
part.
Don't get me wrong,
Wow, look at
nothing
you.
against
Contributing.
I'm doing my little part to support. When the fucking truth is
Glug,
this,
glug, glug, glug.
I would argue 8, maybe 9 out of 10 who go to Starbucks need the fucking coffee. They just want the coffee.
Yeah.
Does it make them feel a little bit more empowered? Does it make them feel a little bit more special if they know that Starbucks is standing behind something really cool? Great. And again, I'm not advocating that I think Starbucks is like, the shit's, knees or whatever the phrase is. But nonetheless, I'm a coffee drinker. Clearly, here you go. Right?
Boosker-doo.
Yeah, they do a great job.
Way better.
But the point is this, I'm off in the weeds a little bit about it, but if we told the truth, which is
the truth versus the charity. Truth versus the charity.
Yeah.
That you're being led to believe that your purchase is funding.
Yeah, your money is supporting this cause.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not donating. They want you to think you're donating to the corporate coffee.
When the truth of the matter is you're helping them run their organization, and the CEO probably has his own fucking jet.
And 7 in-ground pools.
Whatever it might be, exactly.
But people don't like...
We don't like knowing that.
Knowing that we'd rather the musician... Well, is the musician couch surfing? Because that's way cooler.
It's cooler. It's more romantic.
So romantic.
Yeah. It's a romantic story to go from rags to riches, but I don't want to make you rich.
Oh, I don't want to make
You don't get rich off my money, my hard-earned money.
Exactly.
I want to know that you've been suffering, and then just someone hit you in the head with a pillowcase full of fucking hundreds one day, and then you became Bono.
And it's all because we're susceptible to marketing. We're saying that a lot of people like that romance.
Yeah.
Because that's how they were taught. That's how we were primed.
It's a conditioned thing. Primed.
Did you get, here's my favorite, discovered? Mm-hmm. I'll tell you something. Any story blah, blah, blah was discovered, or even better, like there's no history, no wiki article, no any article known to man on the internet about some artist's upbringing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they weren't discovered. They weren't like calculated funding to buy them onto what is it called? An artist development deal, my friends.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Some people are discovered.
I'm sure. Well,
but
I still would argue
they're the cousin of Beyonce's niece's babysitter.
I think that happens a lot, and I think even those who are maybe legitimately discovered,
right?
I think the longer you're in the entertainment business, and like again, the more behind the scenes you are, the longer you're behind the scenes, I think you start to realize that like it's a machine, like there's look, you're dealing with like a lot of money. You got investors who are throwing money around and to develop you, and they don't want to you can't be a risk.
What was
you're
that?
An investment.
What did my dad welcome to the machine, but what song did my dad, he said something
Have a cigar.
Have a cigar, but now which one's pink?
I think Have a Cigar is pink.
Oh, is
right?
Have a Cigar? Okay.
Yeah.
So which one's pink, which is like the essence, I think this is correct, is that the...
Oh, I misunderstood your question.
Oh,
okay. Yeah.
The agent in the character in the song is going, yeah. Oh, yeah, bougie.
Have a cigar.
Here, have a
Here.
cigar.
Oh, yeah.
Now, which one's pink? You didn't do any... The industry didn't do any research on you,
right? And
they think Pink is the first name of one of these band members.
It happens to me all the time.
You're kidding.
My phone will ring with people who are interested in booking me.
Yeah.
Hey, are you available on this date to do this thing? Oh, yes, I am. Okay, tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Hang the phone up, please.
Which brings us back to, I'm here to support art. Do you know who you're seeing? I don't know. It's some
writer. Some guy.
It's a writer's round. No, don't come out, man.
Look,
I don't need you there. In fact, you being there, you're like a freaking energy vampire. Get out of here. Like,
come on, Colin. Get out of here.
Colin.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I would argue against the idea that I don't need them there.
Good. I'm glad.
I think
that's what we're here for. That is a proper yes and.
Yeah.
It's a yes but.
Yes, and a callback.
And a callback.
Sort of. I don't know. 2 seconds ago is not a legitimate callback.
Let's just keep complimenting each other.
Yes, you're very pretty.
Oh, wow. Love your beard.
So, right. Does art need patrons?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Duh. So does frickin' a coffee place.
much like love.
Yeah.
Here's a metaphor. Here's an analogy, because my brain is just an analogy.
And I'll remember what you said prior.
Yeah. Well, it's a similar
Okay,
thing.
good.
Yeah. I'm kind of on the tail of it.
Nice.
Love can't exist. Like, love is an exchange, I believe. You can love yourself. Mm-hmm. But
Still
the
an
idea of
exchange.
loving yourself is
Yeah.
you and yourself
Yes.
are making a connection. So
Aw.
like, but if I am in love with you,
Yeah.
right, which I am,
Oh, gross.
it has to exist between the creator of the
Yeah.
feeling
Yeah.
and the person who's receiving that feeling.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
If I were to, instead of asking if you wanted to marry me,
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, would you like to support my love for the rest of my life?" You'd be like, "Get lost, buddy.
Get out of
You're
here.
a creep
You're
and you're insane."
You're a case. Yeah.
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 Have a cigar and get
And
the
get
fuck,
the fuck
out
out
of here. So I just don't like the word support, because it just
It has its place.
not
it's just
in the venue, and by venue
Yeah.
I mean the medium
Right.
of
right.
inviting people to enjoy something that is really kind of for them.
It's a frickin' I think it's a cop out. Because think about the invitation. How hard is it? And I went through it myself. Before I like really knew the detriment that the word support catalyzed, is that a word? Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Into like bad marketing. I used to say support, and I just lost it because I hear people screaming outside.
Those damn kids.
Kids, get off my lawn! My mind lawn. Oh,
Yeah, oh, wow.
fertilized with little brains.
Your little
at
grassy
top of-
brain.
Yeah, and then you go to
Brain
like the
full of
seeds
sod.
and the brain.
I'll go chase them off
The
for
brain.
you.
Thank you, thanks,
Let me
Christian.
go get the broom.
Yeah.
Damn kids. What was I saying?
We're
I
both
said-
on fire right now.
Yeah,
so
man,
it's
so much
let's
matcha.
just plow
so
ahead.
I think what I was saying was I used to use support. Why was it pertinent? I distracted myself by saying that I used to also use the word,
And
then
it catalyzed.
and then found it a detriment. Invitation. So you said invitation. Mm-hmm. It's a cop out.
Yeah. I agree.
So it's a cop out because the artist is also eating the same bullshit that society is telling us. It's keeping potential. You know how they say, like, "Oh, well, you want to educate everybody because you don't know if the cure for cancer is in some kid who just wasn't, given a proper education.
Person
you know,
who wasn't nurtured.
nurture,
given
something like.
opportunities,
So
yeah.
everybody should be given equal opportunity. I agree.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, and that's
Absolutely.
just freaking facts.
For sure.
So I think artists, really freaking just great artists who can, every artist can shift the world. Boom.
100%.
Right on its axis, just a little bit, and that is enough.
Mm-hmm.
We need more of that. But a lot of these people are eating sugar cereal. These kids, me included, where I went, no, you get discovered, so I need your support. What's worse, not what's worse, but you wind up doing so many free shows that you're like, oh, that's my worth. I guess I'm here, my art, and because you want to stay busy. And by the way, I'm saying that on purpose. Stay busy as an artist, because that's another bullshit sandwich that they're feeding you too. Well, you don't want to stop your momentum, Kat. You want to just book. It doesn't even matter what it is, right? Because what is it? The currency is your exposure. Don't tell me my currency is exposure. My currency is USA dollars here, and I think we get to a point where we're susceptible and then accepting of like, oh, I guess my currency is just like doing free shows a lot. Maybe that is art. And then you're like, yeah, maybe art doesn't really have a place until people like need it to save something. Instead of just constantly eating art, like nutrition, you don't go, I am feeling rather dizzy, lightheaded, and shitty, and my bones are poking through my skin here. I guess I could use some food, meaning like if food is at the ready all the time, why would you wait to eat when food is plentiful? And this
Right.
is for people where food is plentiful. Why would you wait to eat? I'm sure people have their reasons, but art is also plentiful. Eat now. Don't wait until you're like, oh, I guess blah, blah, blah is doing a charity event. Would you mind doing that for free? You're right. Like, you almost start saying yes to the proposition that art is but a decoration,
Exactly,
but a
yeah.
trapping of things instead of art being an experience.
Or even a necessity. I could sit and argue and
sure.
fight
That's
anyone tooth and nail on the idea that art is necessary in this world.
And you know what? I guess part of my body has been resisting that huge statement that you make because I also believe that. And I guess as the matcha leaves my bloodstream, I think I'm ready to talk about that more calmly.
Okay.
Because that is art as a necessity, as far as like, what is it? The pyramid of hierarchy of
yeah,
needs.
yeah.
And fuck hierarchy.
I believe in that.
Yeah,
I just
well,
think
yeah.
that people misappropriate,
Yeah.
what goes where sometimes. And obviously, food,
Yeah.
you will die
Yeah, for
without
sure.
food. You will die without water. You will die without sleep. You will die probably without shelter.
Right.
But
what is to fear death?
But all that stuff is tangible. It's all
Yeah.
it's all practical and pragmatic. There's a spiritual hierarchy, I believe, too. And on that bottom tier, the foundation of that whole thing is a connection to others. You will go batshit crazy if you had all your food in the world, all the money in the world, all the shelter in the world, and not anyone else ever again.
Yes. And I would actually ask you to edit that sentiment then and instead just say that hierarchy is still physical and spiritual at the same time because food is also spiritual.
Yes,
but
of
also
course.
the nutrients that you get from consuming connection with others is it literally a chemical something or other that takes place in the brain. And therefore, it becomes physical. It manifests as physical. If I'm having, well, it's think about like various tumors or ailments within the organs.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been depressed, which is a chemical reaction due to mental, brain things. Am I a great doctor or what?
Yes, you are. Yes. Brain things.
Things. It is going to manifest itself. That's what Dr. Joe Dispenza says a lot. It will manifest itself into an ailment, a sickness of some sort,
Yeah.
a debilitation.
Yeah, some kind of physical
some kind of-
representation of that spiritual.
Right. And vice
problem.
versa. Me, I'm the queen, and it's my journey. And I've been going on this journey. I'll probably go on it my whole life. I grew up, I say grew up, I mean, maybe it was only a certain splash of my life, but for some reason I always just felt that I was a person who doesn't get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that like I knew my own nose.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that as my identity. And every time, and it was like since meeting you, because since I met you, I started like on that spiritual journey. Every time I would get hurt, I would shatter into like some sort of anxiety, maybe even depressive
Yeah.
state.
Your reality was shattered.
I was like, what the fuck is going on? My knee,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden I was like, I'm never going to be able to play tennis again. If I can't even play tennis again, like I'm not going to achieve or whatever it means a lot of things. You can ask my therapist. But even the other day when I was hit by a car, I was in a car, I was hit by a light. Hit at a
Yeah.
light. Just a big
traffic
light
bunk.
came out of the grass and just smacked my Nissan.
He just like slapped you in the face and ran off.
Right, and I'm like, whoa!
World star.
Right. It's a life's a cartoon.
That's funny.
But my back hurt for a month.
Yeah, stress.
And then I kept fueling. Anyway, this is all to support the fact that I think the mind, no matter what, it is all physical, and no matter what, it is all spiritual at the same time.
It's all one. And I think that, I don't want to rush us back to the lane here.
No,
but
do
like,
it, please. I think it's time.
It just makes me feel that like that is part of the problem that I have with the word support is that I don't necessarily think that the people who use the word like, come on in, we have live music here tonight, support the arts.
Ugh.
I feel
that
like
was
you're
like so real.
I feel like you're forcing the patron into the reason why they're going in, and you're either forcing them to make it a spiritual thing or you're forcing them to make it a physical thing, i.e. money, whatever it might be, instead of allowing that patron to go, holy shit, dude, there's live music here tonight. Yo, let's go inside. We have something awesome.
Yep.
You know, that sounds awesome or whatever. Or,
be yourself.
You know?
To feel their own excitement, to feel their own small voice instead of the loud voice that is like, nothing better than free live music. And then all the clones go, I guess free music means happiness.
And here's the problem, too. Like, if the word support is only as good as the word after it. So, like, it's like if I said, well, let's think of it this way. Like, if you have a car, what does a car need in order to run?
Solar or gasoline?
I don't know of any solar-powered cars, Jane Jetson, but where is there a freaking solar-powered car in the world?
Christian, is there?
I think Tesla is technically. I think there is something built into the roof.
Oh, in a Tesla?
I think so.
Really? Okay. I always thought you had to plug those things into that weird
Well,
like
you
telephone.
do. That's the main
electric.
power source, but I
Okay.
think it's like an extra add-on.
Okay, I see.
I'm definitely known for making.
We got Google.
I'm
have
making
Google.
up the future as we speak because in the quantum field,
Yeah, you are living
everything
in the future.
exists. Absolutely.
Well, while we look up whether or not solar-powered cars are real,
Well,
or even like actually available,
they're
I'm
not.
sure
I'm
someone
not saying they're available. You just said
self-solar.
car.
Okay,
Yeah.
solar.
There you go.
I've never seen a car like that
looks
in my
excellent.
life.
I think it's a spaceship.
Definitely looks like a Jane Jetson car, though.
The person.
Wow.
There we go.
Hyundai releases a car with a solar-paneled
the
roof.
ball-
Okay, interesting.
Someone who drives that would also be named Jane.
Probably.
Stop this crazy thing.
Look at that. Yeah, look at that Volvo that we just scrolled
Wow.
past. Look at that thing with that
You know what?
wavy,
I
wavy
would buy that
thing on it.
actually. I would
Hey,
buy
it's all
that.
good. Nah, okay.
The sun.
I'm glad
if
we're
the sun
here.
blew up, I'd be dead anyway. So I might as well.
Yeah,
The
you're not
sun
gonna
will
need that
always
car.
be- right.
Well, I'm glad we brought this little sidetrack up here because you buy a solar-powered car.
Support solar power.
Well, you're supporting
Yeah.
energy conservation.
Right.
You're supporting a cause. Cool.
Cool.
I'm all
That's
good with
the-
that. So
people
the word
love-
support is
Right,
powerful.
Right.
Supporting live music and supporting art. What are you supporting?
It's like saying support your own enjoyment, and you're like, what?
or yes, it is
Or
like
your own
saying that.
taste. Support your own taste.
Yeah, right. And also, but like, you know, I always like to say, if we lived in a liar world,
Yeah.
meaning like nobody could really tell a lie. We all had to like just say what is exactly on our minds.
Veritas potion.
Yes, or a shot of sodium pentothal. Shout out to True Lies, Arnold Schwarzenegger. When you say come support live music, it's false advertisement.
Thank you.
And what I mean exactly by that, and I'm going to try to get right to the point with it.
Ugh, better than me.
The band needs money. The bar needs money. Otherwise, we don't have a place to play for you, and
Yes.
you ain't coming out for a drink.
You know what? Yes.
So by support live music,
That's
what
what
you're
you-
actually
what you're
saying
actually s- thank
is
you. That's
come
what-
on in,
Yep, yep.
buy some merch from this band, sign up to their mailing list because we as artists, in order to like thrive, not in order to create art, you can create art for 100% free.
Right. Yeah. Right.
One might argue you can't because you still have to have some kind of supplies. But
Yes.
right, so
The
but
painter would be like, yeah.
the painter would be like, well, I
give
do
me my paints.
exactly. So
Thank
like
you,
what
right.
we mean by support
right.
isn't just hey, walk into our bar, stand in a corner, do nothing, and then bounce once the band's done. You're not supporting anything.
Correct.
You're just breathing the same air as the band.
And like you said, support is also coming from like the band must be like a struggling
Yes.
mindset. Whereas like Also, if you do not purchase the solar power car, guess who else struggles? The person who created the solar power car. They're
That-
also going to be at a house and home.
But also like the earth, right? Like, so if you don't support, an ecologically sound car, you're kind of like we're implying that the earth is dying. So therefore, like,
Yeah, but that's
support the earth.
But that's the thing that they're making you, in order to appease your. I'm not giving the CEO money. I'm supporting the earth because I feel so freaking great that I'm doing that. Meanwhile, the CEO is going, "Thank you. I'll be buying my private jet now." We don't. Are you still hearkening back to? I just want you to really
talking
clearly
about-
divide the difference of why it's so easy for businesses, for patrons of it. We're all patrons of something. To give our business to other things besides giving ourselves, knowing that we're also buying the in-ground pool for the musician. The musician doesn't have to be struggling.
Right. Well, that was the point I was getting at initially with the car before we
Oh, all right.
went into the solar thing.
yeah.
But I was going to say every car needs fuel, right, to drive.
Right.
Whether it's you have to plug it in, that costs money.
And an artist needs a guitar.
Or hold on one sec.
Yeah.
Before I lose myself in the weeds
Yeah,
again on
don't
this, like I
lose.
did already. No one ever says, right? We all recognize that a car is a pretty miraculous invention. We all need it.
Indeed,
It's part of our lives. If we didn't have cars, life would be a lot
Different.
harder.
Yeah.
Certainly not as convenient, right? So it makes us feel empowered to have a car. We have freedom, right? We're sold on these emotions, like,
Yeah.
well, if you have a car, you can go anywhere
Yeah,
you
bum,
want,
ba-da-bum,
barring
ba-bum,
across
bum,
the
bum.
ocean.
Right, exactly.
Cool.
Always
So
in a desert.
when you fly into a gas station,
Yeah.
okay, you might hem and haw about how expensive the gas might be, but no one ever says. Now, if I said to you,
gratitude.
hey, imagine Exxon. Imagine Exxon's mobile was
Yeah.
support big oil.
Woo-hoo! People be
We
like,
would burn cars
I'm
in
gonna-
effigy.
Like, fuck my car.
We would make a bonfire out of the cars
Yes.
and rival the sun in its fire power.
You are a poet, my dear.
Yeah, it was very poetic. A bonfire of cars. But right, you know what I'm saying? So like, I don't like certain people are allowed to use the word support and certain people are not. You can't say support big oil.
right.
No, you can't say that. But you can say support local musicians.
what-
Why? Because we're minuscule
And
and,
then
like,
and I would argue, just to use your word allow, I would say, fuck that. You're not allowed to use support for art because little do you know, subconsciously, art is the value of art and your big hug that you give art and need art is disintegrating in your soul so far down where you read a sign that goes free live music. Yep. Beep, 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 beep. Don't care what kind of music, it's free. Beep, beep, beep. Instead of if you had whatever. But it's not allowed.
I'm not sure I
the
fully
word-
understand the point
I
of
guess
that.
my thing is, you said some corporations are allowed to use, some people can use the word support and
Yeah.
just some aren't allowed.
Yeah.
I don't think art is allowed to use
I would agree.
support either.
I totally agree.
We're being facetious.
We're lying.
We're lying.
We're
lying. Yes,
I
we're
don't know.
lying.
I feel like we're prostituting the emotion
Yes.
somehow by making people think they're doing like the world some kind of favor by walking in and supporting art.
Well, then what's so bad? Because we understand to a degree why it would be a little so bad for the Starbucks sign to go, thanks for your business.
Mm-hmm.
The CEO just went to Maui
Right.
for 3 months.
We all got raises.
We all got raises. Thank you. We kind of get that because
You know it subconsciously.
I think we're like, maybe that's it. I think you just nailed it there. We get it.
We get it.
know, but we also like to be told that not only are we clothing the CEO's children, we're also maybe supporting fair trade. And when corporations, when big power leaders support fair trade, well, then maybe many others will follow suit. Okay,
Sure.
great. Why? So with that same, like A to A here, apples to apples, I'm going to try to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be possible because art is just a different animal.
Okay.
Or it might not be a different animal.
Let's see.
Why is it then that we walk into an art store, AKA a venue,
A gallery or
and we, instead of seeing on the, why is it that we don't want to see Thank you for clothing the musician's children or the comedian, buying the comedian a house. But it's better than to just, what's the equivalent to fair trade for art? It's still art. Not only do we,
I think
because when we buy a ticket to a concert, I'm just saying concert, it could be anything, a
It's
play,
fine, yeah.
a concert, we go, yes, people are getting paid tonight. That's the subliminal, we are feeding the Starbucks CEO's children. Okay. But also, music that night, do we need to know that it's also allowing fair trade music and other... To me, I'm like, I think it's just nice enough. This is just me. I think it's just nice enough that this one musician got us all in one fucking room.
Thank you. All right.
So that we don't have to all punch each other when we go out and drive our car. Beep, 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 beep. We're in traffic. Fuck you. Fuck you. I hate everybody. No one's my comrade. I think the fair trade bean of being welcomed, invited into a concert hall is that no one wants to fuck with each other that night.
And I think you hit something huge with that, because I think the real problem with the word support is, don't throw me off. Hold on.
No.
You're implying that music and art on its own
Yes.
is not enough. You have to come in and support it. Now, I know that there's well-meaning behind the phrase.
Of course.
I'm not trying to shit talk any venue who has a sign outside that says that.
Of course.
However, there's a lot of
knowledge is power.
there's a lot of well-meaning phrases in our vernacular that do some harm.
They're a little racist.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm being funny.
No, I know you are. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, I think it's less aggressive than like accidentally harming. What I
Indeed,
think
sure.
they're doing is I think they're using a phrase because it's so commonplace that the meaning has been lost. And in doing so, you're training people to think something else about this phrase. So like music and art, I say music because I'm partial to it.
Yes.
I've never put on an art exhibit, with
Yeah.
visual art. But like any artist, your art should be enough on its own to potentially change the world for the better.
That's the cause. The cause is that
That
exchange.
is the cause.
Coffee should also be enough that it tastes good, or
That you just like it.
that you just like it.
And that's what I mean.
You
It should
don't-
be
you-
enough.
you don't-
It should just be enough. Come in. Hey, we're known for having great coffee.
Don't
you like
assign-
good coffee?
You're right.
Come on in.
Don't assign further my lyrics already. My lyrics is the text on
They might as well
on a
be the
coffee's
story
wall
of whatever,
going. Kat had an awakening when she was 20. I'm just making shit up. When she was 27, whatever, and blah blah. And then you go, wow, I'm really in love with Kat. That really resonates with me. That my lyrics do that. Why do I also have to freaking plant a tree? I'm gonna plant a tree anyway because I love trees.
It's fine.
But you don't have to know about that. Right now, tonight is about getting reconnected with you, like a spa.
Yeah.
They're not like, when you buy a spa facial, you're like, I know what I'm getting. I'm
Right.
getting relaxation. I don't also have to know anything else about it. It's kind of understood.
And by the way, to add to that real quick, if I added the word free massage, I think we all know the place isn't really a massage parlor. There's something going on here. So don't say free music. It's just fucking music. Come on in. You know what I mean?
Reese's
So like,
Pieces was my nickname in college.
no, yeah, to support something free, is like a forehand and a backhand, like smack to music.
Love your Tennyson.
To say like support free music
Woo! You're being redundant.
is like headlock
Yeah.
into a sleeper hold, for music. It's like, I'm not hurting you with the first thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you out with the second one. So it's like, and you're also, like you said earlier, phrases like that. And again, I know they're well-meaning. I know deep down inside, the people who say stuff like that mean, without your support, there is a chance that art might go away because these things need to be supported in order to thrive. So I understand that there's well-meaning behind all that stuff, but
However,
we need to reprime society
unplug from the Matrix
and reset.
And reset.
We need a huge Ctrl+Alt+Delete.
Because next thing you know, you're going to get so far gone that they're going to go, where did we go wrong? And I'll be like, I'll tell you where you went. And it's not wrong. It's just knowledge is power.
Yeah.
The more we know about how these phrases don't just mean one thing, support live music does not mean this one sentence that I'm about to say. Music is great, you should buy a ticket.
Right.
It can mean that.
It can mean it.
And then everybody benefits. You get your music, musician gets paid to then make more music and buy more strings for their guitar.
Mm-hmm.
It could mean that. But it could also mean what this whole matcha-infused podcast was about today, which is it could wind you up into a hellhole. We're bringing it there. This could literally be the end of the world if we keep using this word.
I do think, I think there's, the reason we're so triggered about this is because we've been subject to this phrase a lot throughout our careers.
And we've outgrown it, thank God.
Yeah, well, to a degree, I think we have. I think still, I still even think that, like, the systems that kind of run the industry and the people who have influence on the industry, and even from the higher ups to just a local venue owner, whatever, their advice and the way they're I just want to use real language here, the way they're selling the music.
Yes.
And I know that might trigger some of our listeners as well, because our listeners a lot of them are artists. But look, if you are selling your music,
whether you like
sell
it or
it
not,
right. Sell it. Be honest.
Correct.
Be honest.
Be
Because
honest.
look, as a patron,
a lot of people go, "Ooh, marketing." No, I'm a musician. I'm like,
yeah, I know. Oh, networking. Ew, that's
It's like, oh well.
But like, look, and
and we'll talk about that with other episodes.
If
too.
I walked into Starbucks and I saw, an 8x6 painting of the owner with like a chalice, and standing in front of his castle, I'd be like, I didn't need to see that, but like,
funny.
yeah, I still think it's a funny dichotomy because I'm stealing a joke by saying this, and I don't like to do that.
Well, who made the joke?
Brian Regan has a joke about you're not allowed to say, "Have you seen my mansion?" You're not allowed to say that. Like, it's very ugly if you call your house a mansion, but everybody else can call it a mansion.
And the allowed comes from fear. Comes from fear from both parties and fear of both parties. If you truly believe, and I don't even, this might be a talk for another time. I don't know how in-depth this can get. But if we all think on a horizontal plane, there's no seniority. Everybody's a comrade. Literally, like, you're my bud.
Yeah.
Imagine doing that to a stranger.
Yeah.
You're my bud. We can go, I live in a mansion. And they go, yes, you live in a mansion. Yes, you do. I live in a cute cottage. And that mansion owner goes, yes, you do. You live in a cottage.
High fives. Boom.
High fives.
Yeah.
And there's no meaning. It's the meaning of the why the allowed. Mm-hmm. And I always say,
so
like,
I think
feel
you're hitting
allowed.
on something strong here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think, as you and I have come to philosophize and learn over the recent years, is that life is not the problem. It's comparison. It's interpersonal relationships that are the problem within life.
Yeah,
by using the word support,
Yes.
what I believe you're doing is you're setting a hierarchical, is that a word?
Yes.
You're setting a
Stature.
matrix,
Yep.
right? And you're saying, hey, patrons, I want to make you feel super empowered. Why don't you come in and support these people who are just trying to make it, And you're the special one. You're the special one.
Right,
come
right,
in.
Right.
And I think you set a dangerous you set up dangerous rules to the game.
Yes.
When you start using ideas like that, and you start priming people with those ideas.
That the fact that vertical hierarchies can even exist in that room.
Right.
Because it's not. I
It's
don't want anyone
not.
to go, well, what do you mean? You mean the artist is the most important person that night?
No, not at all.
Nope.
It's
and
an
I don't want to
equal
hear
exchange.
it.
It's
Absolutely
love.
Not. It's
love
in
love
that
is
room
a
then. Yes.
Love
yes.
is a connection. My
Yes.
valve to your valve. If you unplug your valve, we probably both die
Yep.
in terms of how energy
And
works.
that should be enough.
And it should be enough. I think look, from anything as innocuous as a cup of coffee to a concert at Madison Square Garden to a coffee house open mic
Or a photography clinic.
or a clinic of photographers. I think they're all equally necessary to our society. Whoever gets something out of it wins. And I don't mean wins as in like a winner and loser. I just mean like
your delivery was perfect.
if you're doing it, you're doing it. Have a great time. Enjoy your coffee. Go enjoy the concert. Go look at art. Purchase art. Purchase music. By the way, that's a whole other damn thing. Ticket pricing.
And it's all yes. And before we get into that, it's
Is there even time?
and you said
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, and it's all we got it. You just said whoever gets something out of it wins. That you're being silly.
Yeah.
People are going to receive what they are ready to receive. Everybody likes to think that we're all just the same person, ready to receive any kind of wealth or abundance, or even ready to receive lack, the same as their neighbor. How many times have you said to me, and maybe vice versa, I go, you know, it just occurred to me? This, and I say something philosophical, and you're like, yeah, I said that 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I don't know what about my physiology was ready to hear it, quote, air quotes, but I heard it today, and I am changed. My chemistry is changed for good. My whole personality the habit of being myself is broken, and I'm changed for good. What is it?
No idea.
Wicked. I have been changed for good. Just had to do that with
Never
that
saw the
vibrato.
show.
You will.
I know, I
One
really
day,
should.
someone in the ether will buy us tickets to that show. We're going to see Phantom of the Opera. So
Yeah, we are.
I'm very excited.
I can't wait.
But we are all going to change in that concert hall at different rates. The ticket price is the same, but you also have to be susceptible to change. And mostly speaking, unless your friend was like, dude, this band is awesome. I've been following them for years. Let's go watch Cake. I've seen Cake twice now.
Yeah, nothing wrong with Cake. We had
And then your friend comes in there. I use Cake on purpose.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck is this band? And you're like, no, dude, Cake's great. And they're like, I think I just wasted $55 of my life.
and that's why
That's okay, because you were dragged by your friend. But also, you got to hang out with your friend a little.
And here's the problem. Well, that's great. But here's the problem with that.
Yeah.
And I'm just keeping this on the rail, the train track of the word support here.
Yeah.
If that person went to a Cake concert with you because they felt that it was a good thing for them to support Cake,
Right.
they'd be quite disappointed with the whole
Correct.
experience.
Yes.
This cup of coffee, I like the taste of it. I like the warmth of it. Coffee doesn't usually get me jittery unless I have a couple of them.
Goodness, it does to me.
You know, if this is my 1.5. I had half coffee at the house earlier today, so this is like my one. And I mean, I don't know, it's a bigger cup. So, but people get different things out of their experience with a coffee. Some people do it because they like the habit. Some people do it because it makes them feel safe and in control. And some people like the
Focused,
jolt.
whatever,
Yeah, right. So everybody gets their own little reward from their coffee. By saying support live music,
Yeah.
you're not inviting the person to enjoy that music in the way that they want to. You're telling them come in the room because the musicians need you to.
Right. Whereas I would even say, even if I dragged my friend to Cake, no one is going to do anything against their will. If they're going to say yes to purchasing a ticket to Cake, they've never heard of them before, they have some sort of perceived value of it's a night out with my girl. So they're willing to it's still not about supporting Cake. It's about supporting their night out, I guess, with me.
Yeah.
Which allows them to just make the decision for themselves, for their connectivity. Whereas if I said, come on out to the Cake show with me, they also plant shrubberies and like do like forest rejuvenation. I'm great right now. forest rejuvenation, and they go, well, I don't like music, but I do like forest rejuvenation. I'll come out. It's like, whoa, wait. I don't know what I'm getting at there, because I still don't see your connection with the coffee versus my cake invitation situation.
Well, what I'm saying is this. I'm saying that by me giving you the reason of experiencing the art and defining that reason for you, which is support. Now, again, the instance that you bring up about, the forest rejuvenation, it's a cause.
Yeah.
It's still a cause. So, like, I think you're allowed to support a cause, right? It's an idea. It's a thing that, someone's deciding to take action on. Go ahead and support that movement, whatever it might be. But to me, art isn't so much of a movement. Art might cause movements, and art certainly can reflect movements. But you can't support art. Art's gonna live. Art's gonna live with or without your support. What doesn't live is what art can do.
Yeah.
But art's gonna fucking happen, man. I could be a hermit, create art, and I might die. And 200 years later, an archaeologist finds this cabin, and it's full of this crazy art, and they're like, "Holy crap, what was this?"
Or not even just finding it. People are gonna want to create it naturally. It's naturally occurring.
I mean, the first person to finger paint a bull on the inside of a cave.
Yes.
It happened organically. Nobody was like, hey, come into my cave. There's tequila,
Right.
You
Yes, there's no incentive. I don't want to be, I'm tired of again, this is not all. We're only talking about what we're talking about. If you want to Google serial killers, you'll think everybody's a serial killer because a million serial killer articles.
We're just talking about the topic. We're not, there's no accusations here.
Well, I just lost what I was going to say. Man, what was I going to say? What did you just say? What did you just come
I was talking about how art is just an organic thing. It's gonna live with or without your support.
Oh, incentive.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't like having to, because some maybe like it was years ago or whatever, marketing with music changes every year. Every 6 months, there's a new marketing manifesto that happens, and it's just so freaking frustrating.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's like, incentivize your customer. All right. Now, thank God, it's a little different because it's like incentivize them with your story. Well, that makes more sense because I am here to share my lyrics, aren't I? And I do want to share my lyrics, not because I need a pat on the back. It's because I think someone can benefit and be nurtured and nourished by them. I don't also need to give a free teddy bear at the door to every fucking buddy. If they want to purchase merch because they want a memento, is that what a souvenir?
Mm-hmm.
Because they want to have a physical representation to bring home, to slap on the refrigerator if you have a magnet on the refrigerator,
right,
to remind them of that good night, great. But I assure you that chemically speaking, if you were moved that night, it has already shifted your shit.
Yeah, for sure.
It shifted your brain chemistry already, and you've cashed that ticket is now worth what its weight in gold.
Yeah.
Which
it's done its job.
It's done its job.
Mm-hmm.
We are almost out of time. We have about 10 more minutes.
Okay.
Did you want to talk about value and ticket pricing?
I do,
okay.
and here's how I'd like to transition into it.
Yeah.
The problem with the idea that a sign can read "Happiness is free live music." Again, if that sentence had a punctuation in there,
you're so right.
I would be my heart would be overjoyed.
Happiness is free. Period.
Live music.
Live music.
Cool. I would take the word free out of that sentence to make it a perfect sentence. Happiness is live music. Now, in terms of value, here's where I think we go wrong, and it's still tied to that word support, by the way. Mm-hmm. The idea that art should be free.
Yeah.
Okay. Should it? Yes. But so should food. So should fuel. It ain't fucking free.
It ain't.
It ain't free.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want it because you need it / love it / need it more, in our modern society, there's an exchange that has to take place, right? So like, here's where I think
it's gratitude.
It is gratitude, and it's a human symbol of gratitude, money, right? Now, here's my problem. When you say come support free live music, and you advertise that the music is going to be free, so it's like no skin off your back. Just come on in.
Because money has a negative connotation to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Money is the root of all evil.
It's the root of evil, and like,
which you and I do not think anymore.
No, I don't think money is evil. I think
Absolutely not.
I think you can use money for evil things.
Yes, I think though people want to disassociate money with art. They want to get them in separate rooms, separate sides of the spectrum. Because art should not even be touched by this perceived evil.
And it's much like the idea that when we purchase a cup of coffee, if we all saw, I don't know what the CEO's name of Starbucks is, but John Starbucks. If every time I gave $7 to my barista, I had a visual like a Penn Station thing, and it was his bank account, and it went up by $7 every time I bought a coffee, I wouldn't want to see that. I wouldn't want to know it. I don't think
that's one thing, but I think it's not because. I think that's a different facet of people's sympathy, empathy, camaraderie with each other. We don't want someone else getting a leg up on me, but I think that's different than what I'm talking about. I'm
trying to transition into it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I am getting, just so I'm extra clear, I think people think art is a sanctuary. Therefore, I don't even want to touch it with this filthy, filthy money. That's why tonight's improv concert is only $5.
Yeah. And there's 13 people on stage, and a venue, and a sound tech, and this and a that,
and lighting,
and there's also a concession stand.
And by the way, the improv theater is going out of business. Sorry.
Oh yeah, we don't. Yeah.
Next thing you know, art disintegrates 20 years from now, and everybody goes, "What happened?" Well, I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what happened.
Perceive your value correctly.
Yeah. So I think I would argue a little bit that and say that I actually don't know if most people are like super turned off by like the connection between art and money. I'm not sure if that's like on the mind of the average person.
Perhaps not. Yeah.
It might be a thing that maybe internally they're just like, it's freaking music. Well, I was transitioning into this to say something along these lines, just to present this idea. Music is one of those things that is free has been free since the beginning of time. You buy a car. What's in a car? A
Free
radio.
music.
Right?
Yep.
Oh, I just love music when I drive. I can't imagine driving from here to California with not a radio in the car. Are you kidding me? I would lose my goddamn mind.
And it's,
right?
Free with air quotes.
Well, yeah. I mean, you pay for it one way or another.
That's the gist.
But you as the customer, it's free to you. Whether they're selling you ads or not to make their money, they're not making it from you directly.
Correct.
And you don't feel.
That's what.
So that's what I'm saying.
You
When
don't
you give the
feel
seven,
depletion. Of funds.
If every time I bought a coffee from Starbucks, boom, here's your $7, and I saw $7 go up in this guy's bank account, it'd be like,
you're like, I did buy that.
Yes.
You're like, ooh.
And we don't have, it's like that in music too. Like we're taught to market our music emotionally, like make people understand how music moves them and stuff. But the truth of the matter is yes, do that by all means. But let's liar this shit a little bit, and let's get people used to the idea that if you really do love an artist, and that person is in fact changing your life in the same way buying gas for your car is making your life better.
Or if you like Ethan Allen products,
whatever it might be. This microphone, wow, I really like it. I like the Super 55.
It reflects your taste. It helps you find your own identity, whatever.
It just adds quality of life.
Adds a quality of life, fine.
When you go into a cafe, what's playing in the background?
Music.
If you, again, there's a million ways that life. If you would imagine life without, I'm going to use the word free music, it'd be pretty miserable. And what we're missing as artists, what we're not doing as a community of artists, is reminding the people who do feed from this that it's a necessity.
Yeah.
I had some heated debates with people over COVID. We learned pretty quick in society what society views as essential and non-essential once COVID hit. And it exposed a lot about society, about how people feel about things. Hey man, in a nuclear war, like, is music really that essential? I can tell you this: if you were at war during the war times, people sang songs.
They sure
So
did.
how about that?
Yeah.
If they did that to make their lives
Right.
tolerable when they were afraid they were going to die. So you tell me if music is a necessity. You tell me if art is literally capable of changing your life for free. Yes, it is. But again, fuel and food should be free as well. But I think in society, there's like...
I think society just disassociate it primes so that the music industry, and maybe we can touch on this at one point in time.
Mm-hmm.
I think so that the music, and this is just a theory. I don't. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
I don't know the music industry, but perhaps in order for them to maintain control as to what to feed you, they keep the patrons susceptible to thinking that it does just boop land in your lap. Free radio. Wow, this is awesome. Spotify or music still only costs $1. Are you fucking kidding me? Or $1.50? When maybe 10 years ago, 12 or
$1.29.
15 years
Not even
ago, it became
$1.50.
$1.20. Then whatever, however much it per track. And then when it went up to like something, you're like, I'm not paying that. What do you mean you're not paying that? It costs $1 million to create this one thing.
Yeah.
I actually, I don't know, maybe it's just a theory of mine, but I think the industry keeps the consumption of music in that magic land where musicians and comedians just get discovered and shit. It's magic. You have to be blessed in order for, you have to be really fucking good in order for the agent to find you. Absolutely not. And
It's not the only thing.
it's not the
anyway.
only thing.
Yeah.
And also, I would probably argue the majority of the people who were doing their thing had some sort of privileged upbringing, schooling,
Perhaps, yeah.
or even accidentally ran into someone, and it's connections.
Well, I think
could be connections.
I think at the end of it all, it's a business. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
you have to have some savvy. I want to put a pin in that. But
Yeah,
our
yeah.
producer extraordinaire had a hand up a second ago.
Oh no, it was only because I'm not gonna lie, sitting down and listening to this conversation has just been like honestly enlightening as a fellow musician.
Oh,
that's
I love
awesome,
this.
man.
So, but one of the things that your story about how important music is, like, hey, is music important in an apocalypse? It reminded me of an amazing story, I think it was during World War II, where it was Christmas, and both sides were not at a stalemate, but like just at a pause.
Yeah.
And then I think the Germans started singing Christmas hymns, and then the Americans started
Again, like
joining in,
chills.
Yeah.
and it created a just one night where both sides stopped fighting.
Unreal, right?
And
Oh
partied.
my God.
And I forget the exact details of the story.
Yeah.
And it might even be a different war, but that
Sure, yeah.
goes to show the power of
Unbelievable.
true music.
Yeah, thank you
So
for
I just
sharing
wanted
that.
to share that.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that speaks volumes to what we've been talking
And then
about
it
today.
makes me even think that perhaps the word essential is not even appropriate. Sometimes I like to joke and I'm like, if I have, once I expand my improv business, I'm going to call it, instead of improv comedy, I'm going to call it improv commodity.
Yeah.
Which is I might even call it improv commodity because it's silly, but a commodity
It's
is
already copyrighted. Don't get any ideas out there.
is something that like is politically essential, basically. Like we need lumber.
It's tradable. It's
commodity,
on the
right,
market.
exactly.
It's a
But
on
I
the Dow.
just think this is like we're aggressively. We're not this is not really aggressive, but we're saying we're using political terms to then adapt to art in order to paint a side by side between other things that people value, like products. Like, well, let's see, I need a clipboard. I buy clipboard. I need to remember my grandfather who I lost to some illness in the past, and I need to feel reconnection because I'm feeling sad inside.
What do I do? Where do I go?
Yes,
Where's the store for that?
I wouldn't call art then. I actually wouldn't do art the disservice as calling it essential. There's got to be another word that is even more infused with love and matcha
Yeah.
to describe the frickin' need.
Is love essential for living a good life, would you say?
I think love is love is essential to live. I lately have been a little confused as to the words good and bad, so I can't really include that without freaking myself out.
Did I say good? Did I say good life? Okay,
yeah.
so yes,
I think
I
love
agree.
is essential to live.
So love is essential for living, like, let's say, a complete life. Is that a better word?
Perhaps. I don't know. I don't want to make a judgment here because I feel like that's a whole other shapoopy.
Yeah, maybe
that we could dive into.
I get it. Yeah. Well, for the sake of time and conversation, I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, to me, the word essential means it's a basal level, right? Like, it's essential, right?
Yes.
Like, it's
keep talking. I'm going to look up the word
it's
essential.
an essence, right? Like, it's
all right. I was just going to say that maybe
food is essential.
Yes.
It's part of the basal needs.
Yes.
Meaning, like, without it, things get shitty real fast.
Absolutely necessarily, extremely important. Yeah. Okay.
God, what dictionary is that?
With no fundamental or essential to the natural of something or the nature of something or
Fundamental. I like that
the
word.
essential. Yeah.
It's a foundational element, right? Like, so that's how I view it anyway.
With
so
no known external stimulus or cause, so it is its own essence, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
I remember I don't remember who it was. You know, maybe off camera it'll come to me. But during the pandy,
Continue.
it's the first time I've ever said that. It was the douchiest thing I've ever said.
Not as douchey as this. Improv commodity. Get it? Don't repeat it.
Okay.
Don't repeat it.
I won't
Okay.
clarify. Yeah, I get it.
I mean, I think it's worse. It's recorded, so
Yeah.
don't repeat it.
Yeah, just please do not hit the back button on this recording.
Now you sound like me. Don't backspace this podcast.
That's right. Yeah, do not
Using
back
the wrong
15
ass
seconds. During the pandemic, I forget who it was, but someone kind of, like, I guess sort of agreed with the idea that we were determining what was really essential and how, like, art and music was just, it doesn't fall in the realm of that.
Right. A very small amount of people in power, you mean? People of influence.
Yeah, which, you know, because they're influential, kind of dictates how, you know, you're going to sway someone into either agreeing with you or going, that was weird, you know, whatever. And again, trying to keep it on the train tracks. Free music and saying happiness is free live music, and saying things like support the arts and things like that is we're taking the power away from what music is capable of. And what I just heard from our producer extraordinaire is that music is capable for stopping a war from happening, even if for one night.
Even if it's a parable.
Even if it's even if it's
obviously
just
is a parable
yeah,
for something, but
maybe it's an actually true
Google it.
story, you know. But
Google which war that was. But I've heard that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. It happens. I mean, look, I mean, you know, slaves would sing songs to get themselves through the day. You know, that a lot of music and styles of music, the blues, jazz, you know, like things were created as a
medicinal.
Yeah, it's like it can change the chemistry of your actual body.
Medicine for the soul.
Yeah, right,
it is.
Exactly.
It's medicine for the soul.
And medicine is even to suggest that it is something like that you're freaking rotting inside, and it is to fix you.
Yeah.
Well, I
see
guess
where
that
you're
is,
going.
you know, whereas essential like amino or building blocks of your very DNA. I think music is DNA.
For sure.
Or art is DNA.
You know what
as well, everything is infused.
I think music is cosmic, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
it does make sense.
Because
it's a universe energy.
If you really look at it, like even in the beginning of this show, one of the first things you said that resonated with me was, I have songs that'll never see the light of day that healed my soul.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so true, because it's like, these will never be heard on stage ever, but they were essential to a part of my life at the point where I was living in a very negative mind space.
Yes.
So I apologize. Like this is
No.
like holy.
No.
Like
That's
this
what
is
all
really
about.
like
That's what it's all about.
this
here.
is really making me think about it in a different way, and I'm just like, this is so cool.
I am eating. The three of us are just. Our voices are inflecting. I can tell. Like,
You know
man, we're audible beings, or
You know what I think music
sonic.
is?
Yeah.
Which word you said? Did you say you didn't like? Oh, essential, or it was another word
Well,
you said. I don't like.
I said.
I forget the word. Now you're allowed to hit
Well, I
backspace
said-
on the thing now.
I said. I made a joke about improv commodity.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's
Maybe it was essential.
Maybe,
'Cause
but you
then
know what
st- yeah.
you know what I think music is, and I'm inspired by this comic book infused room that we're in. But to quote Thanos, I think music is inevitable. It's gonna happen, whether there's a war going on, whether someone is driving slaves through a field, whether music is going to happen, with or without a fucking chalkboard that says support live music. So just let's not say it. Is that a good tag for the show? That is the most non-gang. Hey, pour some out for the homies. Right? It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen because, and as Christian said,
I can't even.
it's
wow.
cosmic. It comes from the cosmos. It's something that it's as mysterious but as essential as the damn sun. Go ahead and try to explain to me why the sun's there. You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it. You'll tell me what the sun does.
This is what it always comes back with you. You're like,
A dare, a challenge.
Whenever someone like takes you off, you're always like,
Tell me.
Wait,
you
let
tell
me do
me.
it. No.
You tell me.
Explain space. You can't. All right. And then you're like, I'm done. And then he walks
true.
out of the
It's true.
metaphorical bar.
Music is inevitable. So do with it what
space.
you want. Feed from it how you will. Just respect the fact that if it wasn't there, your life would be different. It would be different. And so come on into the show. Walk in. Watch a band.
How about this? It needs no invitation. If your small voice, the voice that happens before the loud shitty voice in your head, listen to your small voice, make your own judgments. You might need something that you are resisting. I'll say it again. You might need something that you're resisting, or like I kind of mentioned earlier, you might not need something that day. And maybe you need something different, like a piece of candy or something, or like a good old, I don't know, go shopping.
Yeah.
Whatever. Or call a friend, but phone a friend. And all right, good. Make your own choices because you are inevitable. You are enough.
You are enough.
You're made of, that's it.
You're made of the same
You are
stars.
stardust.
You are made of the same stardust that music is.
Me!
And that's the Yes Anthem, folks.
All right, bye.